I think my biggest learning from taking an unconventional path was probably continuing to be intrinsically motivated by this sort of curiosity. So I think a lot of young people should figure out what gets themselves ticking and drives them. I started a company called Alloy. We are a business process automation tool. So what that means is we allow you as a business user to connect the different apps you use and essentially automate work across those apps. So what that means for a brand like Brooklyn, for example, is you can connect your loyalty platform to your subscriptions platform. So if I subscribe to pillowcases, me as a customer, I can automatically get rewards when I hit, say, the 12th subscription renewal. So we actually allow brands and the operators behind them to automate that sort of work. This is my first company. The catalyst for starting it is kind of out of just my personal philosophy on life. So I love saving time. I love to optimize everything in my life. So I basically wanted to make it easy for anyone to do that themselves without having to code. So when I was younger, I actually built a lot of apps for myself in my daily life, and I realized it's probably not practical for everyone to do that. I left high school a bit early to go work in Silicon Valley, and so I had a really interesting experience there for 6 or 8 months. I actually went without really telling my parents, and we didn't really talk for a bit. And then I applied to Harvard and got in kind of in an unconventional way. So they asked me for my portfolio of code. I didn't really have a great resume as a high schooler, so I got in purely because of my extracurricular things. And so when I went to Harvard, it was actually very different from my experience in Silicon Valley. So I felt like there was a lot of hierarchy. It actually moved a lot slower than I would have liked. So I left after my first year to work in the Valley again, and I didn't expect to fully drop out, but I kind of just never went back. So you could call it an infinite leave of absence. I started the company when I was 18, and obviously a lot of VCs, a lot of people we partner with at legacy companies, they haven't really seen a very young Asian girl walk into the room unless they're like an associate or an assistant. So it does surprise people. And when I was starting my career or starting my company, I wore ripped jeans and a hoodie, so it was also very different. But I think it caught people so off guard that they weren't that like closed-minded. I'm grateful that I work in tech where people actually respect you if you know how to code. And so I came in with that sort of background. And a lot of times you actually interface with people over like forums first. And so you don't see each other's faces. So a lot of times when I was doing business, I actually built up rapport over email. And only when I kind of showed up in person, people would be surprised. Today at Alloy, we're 30 people and we have a couple thousand brands using us, and actually we've been able to scale a lot from great word of mouth on social platforms like Twitter actually. The fundraising journey was actually really tough for us when we started, since I did YC, the accelerator, with my co-founder when it was still in person, and then the pandemic hit in March of 2020. So YC typically has a demo day at the very end of the batch, and that actually didn't really happen. So we didn't have demo day to help us fundraise, and so I basically had to learn how to do it while everyone thought the world was ending. So it was super tough to put together 1 million at the start of our journey, and then over time things actually got much easier as we got more traction, as the markets got a bit better. So in total we've actually raised 27 million. Our most recent round was 20 million from Andreessen Horowitz, so that was a Series A. I want my legacy to be of someone who built beautiful products that made people enjoy their lives more, and in general, I want to be remembered as a pretty curious, intellectual individual.